Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is our weekly What's New and Coming Up with Lipedema. And I am here. I am Catherine Sayo, and I am the founder and CEO of the Lipedema Project and Lipedema Simplified. And I'm here with my very dear friend and colleague, Siobhan Huggins.
Hello, I'm the research specialist with the Lipedema Project, and I come hang out on Fridays and talk about what's going on.
And we have some stuff going on. I think the thing that I'd love to start sharing is because I am learning so much. We have recently started to talk more about the surgical aspect of treatment. And I can say for myself, I'm one who had surgery very early on. I had surgery over 10 years ago, and it did not fare well for me. But I've seen and heard so many positives that I thought, Catherine, I think you're biased.
Aren't we all?
Oh my God. And so I said, all right, well, let me open my mind and my, curiosity and see what people are talking about. So we had the most wonderful webinar this week with Dr. Frank Lapschies from Berlin, Germany. And Siobhan had the good fortune to actually spend like time with him and his staff and his family. So hi, Lynn, and hi, Kathleen, and Anne Marie, and Angela. Welcome, and a bunch of others. Um, Siobhan, what was it like in Germany when you were at their clinic? They have a clinic 100% dedicated to lipedema. That's all that
hmm
they do.
Yeah, so Frank gave us a tour of his clinic, and it was actually pretty cool because with the way that he talked about it, like talking about incorporating conservative care as well, having surgery as an option, but maybe not necessarily the first option for people. And the level of care afterwards as well with the aftercare,
Hmm.
and just how he thought about it in terms of it's a really useful tool for some people, but it's not for everybody.
Hmm.
And just having people who actually care and think about it beyond just like, oh, it's a paycheck. Like he's clearly put a lot of effort into it. And yeah, so I thought it was cool. And that kind of shifted my views on surgery because I was a bit more hesitant about it, still not interested in it for myself. My issues are all cosmetic at this point. But for other people, like seeing, oh, this is actually a really important option for people to have and to have safe options from providers who care about them. So that was really important of an experience for me, I think.
Yeah, that's really well articulated because that really is with me. I said you could not pay me enough money to have a liposuction surgery at this
hmm
point of my life. But I'm 75 years old. I've been through a lot and I have other, lymphatic issues and other surgeries had happened. So, it's a whole different ball game for
hmm
me or for someone like me. So, but the seeing some of the quality of life shifts that some women have had has
hmm
been very inspiring for me. I love your glasses. Do you have new glasses?
They're new-ish. I got them. I finally went to an optometrist a while ago. I think they're catching the light especially nicely though.
Yeah, and not only that, I love the frames. They look pink. You
They are
can't
pink.
possibly have pink frames.
They're like a rose gold color. I really like them.
Oh, I do too. Very nice. so, hi Kendra and Karen, and hi Winetta. Um, so, um, so our conversations about liposuction surgery. And I'll just say, because Winetta is someone who shared at the last webinar, because she talked about how she's had 4 surgeries, I believe, and they've been challenging, but that the quality of her life has totally changed. She's dancing again, and she was sharing with us. She does tango. I would love to see it. Anyway, what it's like to be able to have movement again and facility. I was thinking about that a lot today. Um, anyway, we have another webinar coming up about surgery because we are spending more time on this these days. So it is, is lipedema surgery right for you? Are you right for lipedema surgery? With Michelle Jacqua, who is working with us now. It's wonderful to have her on board. Um, she's an expert in insurance and a nurse navigator. And so she helps people navigate the entire journey around liposuction for lipedema. So that is September 15th. And I just realized I need to give people the link. Um,
Yeah, but I think the way that you phrased it before was really useful in that the quality of life improvements that Winetta has had can be the formation of a question, right? Like, just in the beginning thoughts of like, is surgery for me? Like, would this be likely to lead to a better quality of life? And for me, the answer is probably not. Like, my mobility isn't impaired at this point. I don't have a lot of pain. Um, it doesn't impact me a lot, a bit on body image, but I'm working on it. But for somebody else, the answers could be completely different, where it's like, well, yeah, I have a lot of tissue around my knees. It hurts to walk. I'm not able to do the activities that I want to do. So that's a really helpful question to start with. And it could change over time. It could
yeah.
be no at this point, but maybe 5, 10 years down the road, it's like, well, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, there are such primary and fundamental questions that arise in every surgery um, um, webinar or Q&A that we do, because people want to know, how does the fat get removed, and does the
Mm-hmm.
lipedema fat get removed, and what about the regular fat, and how can you tell the difference, and does it come back? And there is so many fundamental questions. And the thing is it's not a cure. And that's the bottom line. That is the issue, that there is no cure. It is one form of treatment that can help ameliorate some of the issues and some of the symptoms.
Mm.
Um, uh,
And Julie asked, is there a recording of the Thursday webinar? I was busy at work and wasn't able to join.
Julie, if you signed up for it, you will get a link to the replay. If you didn't sign up for Thursday's webinar, and you want to see it, send an email to support@lipedema-simplified.org, and she will make sure that you get it.
Wonderful. And then Kendra said, I have rewatched the surgery event with friends that are supportive for me, and they're really appreciated the information as well. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's the other
great.
thing. If you have caretakers or friends who are interested about lipedema and want to understand better what you're going through or what you're planning or whatever, then send them the links to the webinars that we have because they're free, they're easy to access, they can just lurk in the background and just get a little bit more of that knowledge without putting all of that education responsibility on you, because a lot of people with lipedema have a lot going on already. So it's much easier to send a link and say, if you're interested, go watch this.
And it gives people an opportunity to support you,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds kind of funny. I'm giving you an opportunity to support me. You don't have to say it that way, but to feel it that way, because people want to help and they don't know what to do.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about that recently because they were struggling with reaching out to a loved one, not about lipedema specifically, but about some lifestyle stuff that they were struggling with and wanted to have some support on. And they felt like they were being a burden to that loved one. And I
Yes.
was like, look, they want to help. I know. I've talked to them already. They just don't know how. So, with a little bit of information, people do want to help and support you. That is what family and friends are for.
And I have to say, I'm stubborn. I don't know if you know that about me or not, but I can be fairly stubborn. And the fact that this is a disease and that there's no cure, there's a part of me that doesn't believe that. There's a part of me that believes it's going to, disappear, and it doesn't. And there's a frustration with it. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a sense of, really? I mean, oh my God, I've done everything under the sun plus, you know. So um, I like what Juanetta says when she says it takes a team to really support
Mm-hmm.
the process, not even of surgery, but of, maintaining a chronic disease.
Yeah. And if it makes you feel better, Catherine, whenever someone says there's not a cure or 100% reversal for lipedema or whatever, I always append yet. Yet. We're still early in, we're still learning,
Yeah.
but we're learning at a very, very rapid pace.
Yeah. And Julie says she's scheduled to meet with the surgeon next week. Great. You'll have to let us know how it goes.
Yeah,
Um,
wonderful.
so I put the link in the chat. We have a free webinar coming up with, let me show you. It'll take a second for me to get there, but here I am. So myself and Michelle, I'll be sharing some more general stuff about surgery. I actually know a lot about it because that's where I started. I
Mm-hmm.
started my lipedema process in the operating room, filming so many surgeons, most of them in Germany. So this is our sign up, and me and Michelle. And so what be looking at is surgery variations, pre-surgery or preparing for surgery, post-surgery or post-op, and insurance, what you need to know about getting pre-authorization. I mean, in a short webinar, you can't get everything, but you can certainly get a sense of what you need and how you can overcome the health risks. I think that's important. So 8 days. So in about a week. All right. I'm going to stop the share. And Siobhan, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to? We always have so much
So,
going on.
yeah, so the next thing that's coming up pretty quickly, actually, is the September event coming up on, I don't actually remember the date because it's in my calendar, so I don't have to remember, but you know the dates.
September 27, 28, and 29.
There we go. That's why I like
There
having you
we
around.
go. There we
But
go.
yes. But so the general focus on our fall event is on the holistic approach generally. So that is talking about the physical for sure. That could include surgery and nutritional approaches and compression, things like that. It also focuses on the mental. So I mentioned body image. That's one aspect of it. Building a healthy relationship with your body. Then we have psychological. So lipedema frequently co-occurs with things like anxiety or depression, and you may also be struggling with other things that may impact your care. So traversing that can be a whole thing. And then social. So part of the event is also connecting with your peers and being able to talk to other people who've been through what you're going through and know what you're talking about, so you don't have to explain yourself, and providing that support and care and super important stuff. And then spiritual. And usually the way I think about spiritual is it could be religious for some people, but then it could also be, what is your place in the world? What's your sense of purpose? What's your big, bright goal in the sky that you think about at nighttime? So covering all of those things in one event over 3 days, and then condensing down and saying, okay, what's one step that you could take today so that you're not awash in dozens of different options and not sure where to go next. And that's one of the big strengths of the events, I think, is providing an overview of what the options are, but then helping people guide themselves on what they want to focus on for the next little bit, for the next day, for the next week, and then revisiting again at another event and saying, how are you doing? How did it go? What did you learn?
And then I think the thing I love the most, well, I love so much about our events, but I love the interaction with the community, that
Mm-hmm.
there's small groups and we get to talk to one another. And I always learn something. And I'm like, oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
oh my goodness, what a good idea. So many different small things that women find to do, and then we share it and we end up learning from one another, which I
Yeah.
which I think
There
is
were
really the best.
there were so many tips in the chat at the April event. Like as the presentation was going on, people were adding things in like, oh yeah, I do this and this. Here's an alternative option. Here's another thing. Here's one other thing to look out for. And it was so fun. Even the speaker was like, man, you guys are amazing. It's like, yeah, the community is amazing. It's why we like to gather up together and hear from each other, because each of us has so much experience and knowledge, and it's just really cool.
Yeah. And we have a number of panels with people and experts. So we have one on pain management, we have one on surgical options, uh, and some others too. I'm not remembering all of them off the top of my head, but it's
Self-care is another one.
self-care. Yeah, yeah, self-care. So, and the price goes up next week because we're coming down the home stretch. The cost is $397 right now, and for the next, really, over the weekend, it's $147 because it's on an early bird special. But then that goes away on, I believe, Monday. Um, oh,
Oh, we have
Lisa
Lisa in
says,
the chat.
yeah, she says the chat is very powerful in the heart to heart events.
Hi, Lisa. Be Humble said, what could be the reason for a 3-pound weight gain when you're absolutely doing everything you can to lose? So there are many answers to that. I would say if it's a 3-pound weight gain over like a day or two, it's probably fluid. So one thing that can happen a lot with lipedema is that because it has impacts on the lymphatic system, we can swell. And if you're retaining water, that water has mass, and then you go up on the scale. So I don't look at the scale very often for that reason. I mean, it can be good to know, like, oh, I've suddenly jumped up a few pounds. I'm probably swelling. I should probably do something about that. But on the other hand, in terms of just my own sanity, I rely a lot on measurements. So I'll do measurements at the waist, the hip, the thigh, the arms, and I'll track my longer term progress that way because it doesn't fluctuate as much. If it's over a longer term, it could be any number of things. It could be related to diet or stress. And for that, I would recommend reaching out to our nutrition coach, Carrie Reedy. She's like a mega genius at looking at all the different things that can come into it, because there's a lot of different things. So let's see. Her email is carrie@lipedema-simplified.org, so you can reach out to her. I'm sure she'd be happy to help out because it can be very overwhelming to figure out, is it food sensitivities? Is it, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, short term, usually it's just food.
And yeah, Carrie is, oh, where, there she is. She is a nutritional medicine and a therapist and functional medicine specialist. So she comes very well trained.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm looking for the link that gives. You know what? I'll just add it because I can't find it. This is the link for our event. I want to make sure everybody has it.
Yeah, and Be Humble said, "Thank you, Siobhan. I appreciate the help. Great advice. This is driving me nuts." I am with you on that. I've also experienced cases where my inches are going down over time, but then my weight is completely the same. So that's another reason I don't focus on weight too much, because like I've seen people with lipedema who changed their diet, were doing absolutely everything right, didn't lose any weight, even went up a little bit. But then they looked at the body composition scans before and after they had made the change. And what happened is that they had lost fat, but simultaneously gained muscle and lean mass. So they didn't lose weight because their body composition had changed. So it's complicated.
It is.
Yeah. And Juanetta said stress. Yeah, that is definitely a component.
Yeah, stress, but so many different complexities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I think that's coming to a wrap.
I
Anything
think
else you
so.
want to add, Siobhan?
I think that's all I have. But I appreciate the questions this time. It's always fun to see what you guys are thinking about and what you're curious about. And it gives us a good idea of what we should talk about. So I always appreciate it.
Have a it's a Friday here on the East Coast. It's I love these because this is the like last thing of the week kind of thing
Yeah.
for at least for in on the East Coast, and it's the very beginning of autumn here.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like counting down the days because in Boulder, it's like it'll flip back and forth in October, but that's when we start getting really chilly. And I'm just like looking at the calendar and like 3 more weeks until it's October.
yeah. October is my fave.
Me too.
So, well, have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and wherever you are in the world, morning, afternoon, evening, autumn, winter,
Summer,
spring or
fall,
summer, because
spring.
I think Fiona was talking about it's summer in New Zealand, so we
Hmm.
cover it all. So hope to see you soon. Much love.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.